Hello everyone, and welcome to part 11 of my Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon dramatic reading. For those of you who are unaware, my name is BerserkChip. I do dramatic readings of visual novels where I read them like it's an audiobook. I do all the voices, very similar to Jim Dale's The Harry Potter audiobook series or Benny the Comic Historian. Last we left off, Shiki and Arcueid were deep into their battle with the dead apostle vampire Vlav Archangel, who had wreaked havoc on the central square of Soya. So, we'll be continuing from where we left off, and we will find out possibly the conclusion of this fight. It's really quiet on my end, hold on. That's a little bit better. Alright. Alright. The pit has turned into an underground coliseum filled with a forest of fire. The walls of flame block Arcueid's escape. And with the stage set, a hand of unparalleled heat is unleashed towards Arcueid, melting the rubble in its path. Arcueid! In an instant, the tide of battle is completely reversed. Arcueid said that she could withstand temperatures of up to 3,000 degrees Celsius. However, the hand that melted the rubble with ease has a temperature well over that. 3 more of those hands piled down on her. Not even ashes will remain at this rate. There's no escape from the tormenting tongue of flame as it licks its prey clean. The white figure burns away without a trace. At least, that's what would have occurred if this had happened last night. What the fuck? The flames are torn apart. A white skirt flutters in the wind. Enraptured, I'm unable to tear my eyes away from her transformation? I recall her saying something earlier. Something about having a countermeasure and rebuilding her body in advance. I don't remember this. Wait, what? Vlav's flames seem to mean nothing to her in that black and white combat dress. Is the dress absorbing the flames? Or is she herself now impervious to them, now that she's rebuilt her body? Either way, the flames can't touch her now. Arcueid's countermeasure is flawless. Her victory was decided the moment she identified her opponent as a monster of flames back at the hotel. Hand of flame is unleashed. Arcueid casually thrusts out her hand. With a move like she's combing her hair, she disperses the towering walls of flame that surrounded her. The walls of flame bow their heads, submitting to the white dress. Her golden hair whips about like a shower of shooting stars. Her claws fly through the air and rain down on Vlav with power unlike anything I'd ever seen before. As she helplessly retreats, her claws strike a second time, then a third. An overwhelming difference in ability. This is no longer a battle. As soon as his flames were neutralized, Vlav became mere prey to be hunted. Arcueid's claws continue to unrelentingly inflict accurate, mortal wounds onto Vlav's flesh. Vlav is probably only still standing because he has some blood remaining. But even that is going to run out at some point. Unfortunately for him, there aren't any humans around to extract resources from. Except for me, of course. The only blood he has left is that which flows within his own body. And that won't last more than a few blows. In other words, he's bankrupt. Without the energy to revive, he'll return back to his rightful state as a corpse. Stop it! He begs for his life without any pretense. Just like a child throwing a tantrum. His mastery of the machete is also lost. He swings it haphazardly, as if to dispel the fearful sight in front of him. But Arcueid is not going to let such a clumsy opening pass by. It's cold. It's cold. This place is cold. Screaming, the vampire leaps. Mustering the last of his blood, strength, Vlav jumps backwards. No, upwards. He jumps from the floor of the pit toward the surface. Even a height of 40 meters isn't enough to stop a vampire. It's likely that he's planning to replenish his blood supply on the surface. Green ivy twists around his leg. The ivy sprouts from beneath the rubble at a terrifying speed, grabs Vlav's feet, and pulls him back down to earth. A river of flame appears once again at Vlav's feet. Engulfed by a fire that burns only life, the green ivy is reduced to ash. However, his shackles do not vanish. New ivy, fertilized by the ashes, entwines itself around him. No matter how many times he burns it away, he cannot break free. Like a phoenix, it returns again and again. That's right. If vampires are considered immortal, then the workings of nature are also an eternal, endless cycle. That ivy is a manifestation of that. He cannot escape them without a fire capable of burning down the planet itself. For Vlav, or rather, for a vampire with a curse his size, snuffing out Arcueid's breath is something that is simply impossible. Arcueid runs. From the intensity of her stance, I can tell that this is the finishing blow. All of Vlav's counterattacks have been thwarted. With this, she has decided to end it all. I feel the same. There's no need to wait for my assistance. At this rate, Arcueid will crush him to pieces. And yet I can't help but be apprehensive. Something is wrong. His agony, his breathing, they entreat me to notice what's amiss. Vlav's complexion and anguish have become even more ghoulish. Within that scorching heat, he exists in his own separate world. His breath is white, as if the world he exists in is the polar opposite of ours. I know those eyes. The instinct for both fight and flight. He is simultaneously both the perpetrator and the victim. That's why. We are definitely making a fatal error. You idiot. What the hell am I thinking? Arcueid's victory is inevitable. There's no way I'd interfere at a time like this. I don't have to do anything. There's no need for me to go out of my way and enter that hellscape. Knowing that, I mean, if I call out to stop... Well, hold on, let's save first. If I call out to stop, it's just gonna give Vlav a massive fucking opening. So, it sounds like the only choice that makes sense is to just watch. I have no choice but to simply watch. I feel nausea slowly welling up in my throat. An indescribable chill crawls its way down my spine. I wouldn't be able to make it in time from here anyway. The only thing I can do No. The only thing I should do is calmly watch the battle unfold. His chest is pierced. A great deal of blood is spilt. The plug that held in Vlov's blood has been removed. The burning delusion, dream, comes to an end. The final boundary is crossed. And then, with an earth-rending scream, the vampire's true form is revealed. The atmosphere creaks. The frenetic dance of atoms is abruptly brought to a crawl. Electrons, repelled by the solidified rift of near absolute zero temperatures, have nowhere to go and start to react. The blue flames that blanketed the ground were not flames at all. Similar to the enthalpy of vaporization, they were more like that had been heat. They were more like heat that had been lost from the earth itself. It's true. A cold-blooded arm hangs in the air. The palm of his hand is outstretched, as if groping for warmth. This place is cold. The white beauty in front of him is swallowed completely. This isn't just a drop in temperature. It's as if the world itself is suddenly changed without warning. The river of ice that sprung forth from Vlov didn't just blow away Arcueid. It kept extending all the way to the city behind her. It can't have taken more than 2 seconds. The glacier reached the buildings on the surface and froze everything in an instant. What if there were still people in those buildings who hadn't evacuated? Any warmth they might have had been snatched away. My body trembles at the unbelievable scene in front of me. I'm terrified at the prospect of what might have happened. I'm terrified at the prospect of what might happen next. It's only by chance that I'm still alive. If I had been behind Arcueid, I would have been frozen where I stood. The expanding river of flames was a slow-moving disaster. People were able to run away faster than the fire was able to spread. But that glacier formed in an instant. Its range is narrow, and the cold wave only crawls along the ground. Once it's released, there would be no hope of escaping it. If that guy manages to get above ground, anyone that comes face to face with him would have no choice but to lay down and die. Arcueid. That's right. Where's Arcueid? I hang on to my one and only hope. She's the only one who can stop that monster. There she is! In the middle of the icy river stands the figure of Arcueid. Thank goodness. That girl really is tough as well. She's standing amidst the frigid air without a scratch on her. So that's how it is. You haven't lost your sanity. You're just running away from it. Even third-rate dead apostles are able to overthrow the planet if they possess a principle, huh? Thanks to that, I'm wide awake now, Vlov Archangel. Arcueid brushes off the glacier. Vlov stares at her with cold eyes. Not with the sickly eyes from before, but with eyes that carefully observe their prey like a hunter in the snowfield. I'm the one who should say such things. How dare you rob so much warmth from me? His voice is like a blade, his words dripping with hatred. The vampire's fighting spirit has not faded. No. To be more precise, it's like he's actually ready to fight for the first time. I see. Then accept your good fortune, Vlav. Normally, I would have finished you before you woke up. But thanks to a despicable murder, your life has been spared. Well, for a short time at least. Indeed. You're quite different in person from what I had been led to expect. It appears that in this moment of truth, fortune smiles upon me. I hate to say it, but you're right. It seems that both of us only have one final attack remaining. Whichever of us attacks, the other will disappear. But before that, allow me to extend to you at least this courtesy. Heed me, mine enslaved and meager chattel. The mark of an ancestor, the sickness of thy rout, that maelstrom-like cavity. O progeny, who hath begat a principle anew. What is blood to thee? It was a stern voice, jarringly out of place in this current situation. Arcueid's question could be taken as a reprimand. After opening his eyes wide in surprise, Vlav replies, I shall in respect then reply. For me, blood is the very essence of warmth. It is the heat of life, the elixir by which my frostbite is cured, around which my world, my principle spins. Most certain, without blood, this chill would freeze me still. He reveals his own true self, with a voice that could be construed as almost respectful. I remember now. There was an outsider who despised and feared humans, that in order... Oh, excuse me, let me retry that again. I remember now. There was an outsider who so despised and feared humans, that in order to avoid them, she said... Oh, wait. Fuck, it's the other way around. God damn it. I hate when they fucking do that. It's so annoying. What, 20 fucking years later, you're still fucking me up with this shit? Okay. It's gotta be Vlav talking, right? Fuck, okay. I remember now. There was an outsider who so despised and feared humans that in order to avoid them... Oh, no, fuck, it is Arcueid talking. I hate... She's talking about his master that he killed. Okay. One last time. All of this is gonna be edited out. I remember now. There was an outsider who so despised and feared humans that in order to avoid them, she set herself to drift among the distant oceans, holding there a castle. One of the 27 ancestors, Zarya Offenbaum. I heard that she'd been in possession of a principle that had persisted for over 1,000 years, yet had not sired a single offspring during her reign. So basically, you killed her and took it for yourself, didn't you? That's right. I am no successor. I'm simply a knight. Was a knight. Eternity is something well beyond my station. The vampire turns his right hand towards his own shadow. From the long, unnaturally long shadow that stretches before him emerges a hulking form of an outlandish weapon. However, my liege was not suited to it either. As such, I stole it. The knight defeated the queen, claiming the throne for himself. Now, this principle is a curse I bear alone. I see. It must have been a short reign. still standing firm. Though you've weakened so much that you cannot even deploy your marble phantasm, you still intend to face me head-on. I don't need it. It's not necessary for me to synchronize with the world, just to take out a mere dead apostle. For someone of your stature, my claws will prove more than enough. The edges of the vampire's mouth twist upwards. His refined face warps into that of an ugly beast. It's as though he's grinning in agreement with Arcueid's provocation. Those that are strong. Those that through... What the fuck? This... Hold on.
Vicissitude.
Vicissitude? A change in circumstance or fortune, typically unwelcome or pleasant or unpleasant. Those that are strong. Those are those that through vicissitudes remain unfaltering. And that is truly what you are. Though your power may be diminished, it is above mine nonetheless. One who can with all curses deal, through all situations adapt. The original one. An ordinary dead apostle stands no chance. The air distorts. The blue flames born from sickened thoughts begin to drop the temperature in the crater. Arcueid doesn't hesitate. She charges Vlav head-on, despite knowing that his strange weapon has the potential to defeat her. And then... Yet you do not know. Although this domain is part of the planet, all the same, it is a biosphere foreclosed, in which none can live. Though you may be the princess of the true ancestors, do not think you can endure this hell! A wave of cold air billows out around Vlav. Arcueid comes to a sudden halt and sticks her hands out in a protective gesture. The wind blows fiercely, and with a piercing howl, envelops the city in absolute zero. And then... a huge lance of otherworldly steel pulverizes her pure white dress. The blizzard blocks my sight. My breath comes out white. Arcueid is blown dozens of meters back and collapses on top of the wreckage. The dress that had been repelling the flames is shattered. She reverts to her former self. You monster. Even in suffering the blow of my lance, do you retain your form? Nevertheless. Arcueid stays down, showing no signs of waking. Without moving from where he stands, Vlav holds up his right hand, as if to signal something. The rubble around him crumbles. Several corpses crawl out from underground, groaning. The spoils of this hunt now belong to me. Go forth and pick up that woman's corpse. That adaptability, that all-powerful blood, which transcends all anguish, bring it to me. At Vlav's command, the corpses begin walking over to Arcueid. The winner has been decided. Our strategy has failed. Vlav cannot be sealed by those chains anymore. Arcueid has been defeated, and the city engulfed by a freezing wave. Everything around me has been annihilated. I stand right in front of it all, watching the final scene unfold before my eyes. The cold air cuts my skin. My body temperature drops. The intense cold makes it difficult just to survive. My brain creaks as if it's being squeezed by my skull. My heart, already fit to burst, is ripped clean in two when I imagine what's going to happen in the next 2 minutes. Corpses swarm toward Arcueid. A procession that calls to mind midsummer in the face of this extreme cold. Like ants gathering sugar under the blazing sun. They're going to kill Arcueid. Those corpses here. Those corpses are here to tear her limb from limb. Just as I had to offer up. I didn't understand what the fuck that was, okay. Those corpses are here to tear her limb from limb. Just as I had. And offer up her dismembered body. God damn. All while I watch from this... second? All while I watch from a safe distance. Just like that. Just like that? I can't. That thing is just a disaster in human form. I shouldn't have pursued him. It was beyond arrogant of me to just think I could defeat him. Stop him from killing anyone else? Resolve the situation without any more casualties? How foolish. I should have looked the other way. I shouldn't have confronted that monster. As with the typhoon, there's no option but to let it pass. If I had done that, then the city may have only ended up being burned to the ground. But I can't. She who could do nothing. Me who chose to do nothing. She who isn't even armed. Me who carried a weapon. Common sense and irrationality writhe within my pressurized brain. My consciousness turns to my rear, telling me to run. There's nothing I can do to stop it. It's no use after all. What could I possibly do against an opponent like that? That woman. From here on, I'm totally out of my depth. That woman, I should just run away. Just look away. Any decent human would. That woman will be killed. I turn to the sky. Everywhere I look, I see frozen buildings. All those people, wiped out in an instant. I doubt they had even time to scream. The scene at the hotel last night. I think back to the pleas of those people who were also killed without purpose. The fallen figure. The corpses drool sloppily as they draw near the woman. The expanding river of ice throughout. The vampire continues to observe the death of the city with indifference. There's no doubt about it. My skull cracks. Under these freezing conditions, my heart pumps blood ferociously. That is, in other words, I cannot allow this! All of the fear running down my spine transforms into anger. I'm defective, a laughingstock, far too immature as a human. After all, not a single atom in my body can tolerate just standing by and observing. I take off my glasses. I cover my mouth with my left hand, desperately trying to hold back my shivering and prevent any more warmth from escaping. 1 minute. No. 3 minutes. I firmly etch this time constraint into my mind. I'm not worried about losing my nerve. 3 minutes is simply the longest a human can survive down in that pit. Shit! Shit! What the hell am I doing? I berate myself as I descend the slope. This is ridiculous. I'm being foolish. I really am an idiot. Run away because I don't want to die? That's backwards. If that's your goal, you need to do the opposite. That thing cannot be tolerated. That thing cannot be allowed to go unchecked. Running away will undoubtedly lead to death. Not only for myself, but for the entire city. In that case, it's obvious what I must do. If you don't want to die, then kill. Run for the sake of survival. Kill that thing right here, right now, without waiting even a second. I've pretty much run out of patience at this point. That thing killed, robbed, and survived without a second thought. As a different organism person, I cannot allow him to reside in the same plane of existence. Whatever it may be. If it's alive, then it's my prey. Right here, I'll put an end to the core of his very existence. I run toward Arcueid. The corpses are trying to sink their teeth into her body. The question from earlier of whether I could kill them or not comes to mind. Can I kill something that looks like a person, regardless of whether or not it's really human? It doesn't matter. My head simply hurts right now. The first time I've looked with my bare eyes for so long. The first time I've acted so objectively. As I look down on the lines of death in a frenzy, I memorize the images of the corpses I must kill. Don't touch her. You're an eyesore. The dead should not eat the living. Besides, the only creature that's allowed to prey on that woman is me. I cut the lines on the 3 corpses. Each of them is split into 3 pieces. Like a hot knife through butter, the corpses are split open and perish. Too easy. Their attention was focused on Arcueid after all. How can you be that defenseless? Wake up! How long are you gonna stay asleep for? There's no need to come into contact with Arcueid. I call out to her as I kill the 4th corpse. Shiki? Perhaps regaining consciousness as a result of my call, Arcueid weakly opens her eyes. What are you doing here? You need to get out of here! As Arcueid begins to sit up, her face contorts, and she doubles over. She's back to being conscious. Her life is still intact, but her wound has not healed. She cannot move from here. The one that should be running is her, not me. But unfortunately, I cannot allow her that luxury. Okay, you're fine. That's good. Back me up if you can. Back you up? You telling me you're going in alone? Are you insane? Would I be here if I wasn't? Listen, this place is like the bottom of an ocean for me. I've only got 3 minutes. That's why in that time, this time for sure, we'll kill that bastard together and end this! I leave Arcueid behind and run. I adjust my grip on the knife and measure the distance between me and Vlav. It's about 40 meters. 6 seconds until contact. He still hasn't seen me yet. 3 seconds left. No time to wait and see. I'll finish him off with one blow. My body is already in a state of flux. I had 3 minutes in total before my body and consciousness shut down due to the low temperature. One of those minutes has already elapsed. That leaves plenty of time. I can already see them. The lines of death that will kill this monster. the man finally reacts. With the manner of someone brushing off an insect, he turns his gaze as if to intercept me. The giant lance that skewered Arcueid is nowhere to be seen. Of course it is. I'd be in trouble if he still had it. In Vlav's eyes, I'm no different from the corpses. He treats me as an incompetent thing that only protects Arcueid. A worthless existence, just like all the other frail humans, creatures. He's crushed underfoot before. Okay. Ha! That's why I have a chance. The only thing I can do is take him by surprise. He's already seen me. I can't attack from behind. And yet, I can still take him by surprise. He doesn't know about my eyes. He hasn't even considered that a mere human might have the means to kill an immortal vampire with a single blow. 2 seconds left. I only have to do it once. To take that risk. To cross the border between life and death. I'll dodge his first move. That's my sole focus. If I could just make it through that gamble, then all I have to do is cut that line. At the very last second, right at the moment we were about to cross swords, the both of us jumped back simultaneously. We never even came within striking distance of each other. There are 2 reasons. For one, I made a mistake. I can't get close to his chest. He is the focal point of this swirling, icy wind. The closer I get, the more sluggish my body becomes. Even at running speed, the moment I'm within 2 meters of him, I'd lose consciousness, unable to take another step. And that's the minimum requirement for a surprise attack. Getting in close for the kill simply isn't possible against Vlav. But that's okay. As a matter of fact, I had already taken that possibility into consideration. However, there's another problem. This one is far more deadly. You bastard! The headache caused by my exposed eyes blends with my own rage. I don't believe this. Of all the things that could happen, that bastard managed to see through me. It must have been his intuition, an awareness of death that surpasses that of a beast. Despite having no reason to think so, that guy suddenly realized that the enemy had a means to kill him and was afraid. Having recognized me as a threat, he leapt away, without even a second's hesitation. Why did I retreat? My retreat was a mere 2 meters at best. But his retreat was extraordinary. He flew back 30 meters. I guess that must be the minimum of safe distance for a vampire. I can't help but laugh at the staggering difference in specs between the 2 of us. You. What are you? That should be my line. This is the worst possible situation. I can't bridge the distance anymore. I've accepted that it's impossible to defeat him. And he sensed that I have a way to kill him. It's clear how things will go from here. Good. Stay back. You can stand there and die. It will be a one-sided slaughter from afar. A block of ice flies through the air. The ice forms a spear, a missile fired to blow my brains out. Should I avoid it, or take it head on? Do I continue to hide it, or do I cast away my only weapon? I make my decision subconsciously. My headache clamps down further in my brain. Fully immersed, I focus my eyes on the deadly weapon. If those lines represent the death of existence, then I will kill the form, the inertia, and the sub-zero bonds of the spear right in front of me. Death grazes my temple. I match my knife to the soaring icicles. Man is but a wild beast. If we were equipped with such kinetic vision and reflexes long ago, if my body can still move adequately, then a weapon like this is no different from a giant pebble. However, this brings an end to my frontal surprise attack. The man's eyes speak to me. They tell me that he saw it. They tell me that things like reason and logic don't matter. He simply won't let a bastard like me get close a second time. With that, I've lost my path to victory. I wondered to myself if it was really the right time to discard my trump card. It wasn't. There was no other way. The only way to survive was to expose my hand here. That's why I have to search with my entire being for what I can get in return. I cut it down to the last amount of movement possible. Even if there's no way to get close to him, I'll still try to conserve as much energy as I can. 2 minutes left until I reach my limit. The excitement drives away my fear. Drink. My view of life and death is reversed by my desperate struggle to survive. This is not a miracle. Neither does this follow common sense. Why is it that he's able to slip like water through my onslaught? There's a small gap in the icy barrage. The man concentrates the cold waves flooding out of himself onto a single point, creating an even colder vortex. It's a shame, but die. Don't go and make my heart pound like that. Chunks of ice shoot toward me, as though gliding down a zip line, cutting through the frozen atmosphere. I slice through the assassin's bullets. As long as I'm standing in front of Arcueid, I've no choice but to stop the objects that are being fired in our direction. At this rate, it takes 1.5 seconds for the ice spears to reach me. I can keep this up for as long as my body can keep moving. In the meantime, I'll think of what I can do. Vlav hasn't taken a single step. Why is he not moving? If he thinks I'm a threat, then there's no reason to ease up. If anything, it should be the opposite. I predict that it's not because he doesn't need to move, thanks to the projectiles, but rather that he can't move while he's in this state. He was driven to a corner by Arcueid and ran out of the blood that fuels him. That air must be the final self-defense mechanism of a monster on the verge of death. It's a wild theory, but the logic makes sense. The immobilized Vlav protects himself by deploying a curse in all directions. Regardless of whether it's hot or cold, any living thing that comes close to him will die. You would freeze to death in 2 seconds if you got even within 10 meters of him. At this rate, I'll eventually fall as well. It's the same as humans stranded in the snow-capped mountains succumbing to sleep. When a human's body temperature is below 34 degrees Celsius or above 43 degrees Celsius, their brain cells shut down and they fall unconscious. Rather than focusing solely on Vlav, I observe his surroundings. Without interrupting my final thoughts, I let the blade slide out automatically the moment I see something. As I do, I revise the conjecture that I had made earlier. The cold wave is spreading in all directions. But is the density really as uniform as I thought? The fact that the floor is the coldest area means that there is a temperature gradient. Whether it's fundamentally strong or weak, some fault exists. It may protect him from all directions, but that doesn't mean his invulnerability is uniformly perfect. So you protect your master on the brink of death. Brave, but futile. The long lance that had struck down Arcueid is drawn from the shadows once again. Perhaps he was just warming up before, because behind him, a great tree of ice sprouts branches. That's really pretty. Oh shit. Uh-oh. Now, I will release in great numbers. I put my thoughts on hold and pour all of my attention into intercepting his attacks. This is impossible. I can't stop them all. I'll surely be hit somewhere. No, I can't be so naive. I can't even let them graze me. If I bleed out, it's over. The cold air will not spare a single minute before coming for my life. It's why I must kill. It's why I must struggle. I clear my mind and tune out everything in my vision other than the lines. Total number of prey deployed, 26. I continue to stare as I develop a strategy for what to do, for what to cut first and what to avoid. Within that gap, I can see it clearly. The place of death, greater than the line. That spot must be the focality of death that gives birth to the lines. The wall of death looms before me. But I saw it. What I saw just now, I've seen it before. There's a chance that I die here. But there's a chance that bastard dies here too. But I've come to a conclusion. I, Tohno Shiki, no longer have a means of survival. The ice spears cut into the flesh of my right flank and my left thigh. My body heat is drained through my extremities. My ligaments scream from all my sudden stops and starts. The cells in my legs are being destroyed by the ultra-low temperatures. My fingertips grow numb. My limbs won't move as I want them to. An inevitable predicament. A losing battle with no chance for victory. A situation where I will die in a minute, no matter what. Neither Vlav nor Arcueid, nor whoever else happens to watch this mess unfold, will doubt my inevitable death. Above all, I myself have no hope of my own survival. And yet... an animalistic urge sprouts from deep within me. Am I smiling at a time like this? One of the ice spears strikes Arcueid square in the face. Damn! I didn't even consider the fact that she was located behind me. Although it didn't pierce her, Arcueid rubs her face with one hand. How was this woman unhurt after taking a direct hit to the face? How? I knew that she was a nonsensical creature, but once again I'm speechless. Arcueid plunges her bare hand into the ground and lifts a chunk of the earth, as though scooping it with a shovel. She then aims the bedrock at Vlav and throws it, as if to say that didn't hurt at all. The huge lance crushes the bedrock thrown by Arcueid. Vlav is unharmed. No surprise. You can't kill him with such a simple attack. However, with Arcueid's counterattack, the final piece had been placed. We've already come to a conclusion. There's only one way to kill him. If I can get close enough before the cold stops my body, I can kill him with absolute certainty. But how? My legs are too slow to be able to close that distance in 2 seconds. I need the help of something faster. If we want to be more certain, I need to invade through the weakest section of his ultra-cold sphere. I cannot simply use my own legs for this. I will die for sure if I do nothing. I have no choice. It's not a matter of if I can kill him. It's a matter of how. I must steel my resolve. If there's any way to get close by, it's by... Alright, let's try gliding. I don't know how. What do you mean? Like, gliding? It has to be gliding. No. More accurately, closer to falling. But can I do it? It's up to fate whether or not I make it. It's not safe by any stretch of the imagination. Even if everything goes well, the impact of the landing will tear my muscles and break my bones. Will you really be able to endure that pain? In the nick of time, I stopped the projectiles that served to prod my indecisiveness. That was close. Thank goodness. With that, my mind is made up. I just need to bear the burden. From the beginning, I've always been insensitive to the pain of death. Just as he does, I too will focus only on killing without a second's hesitation. I turn around and run back to Arcueid. My energy is completely drained from all the excessive movement. I can't take even one more step forward. The enemy I must approach is a distant 50 meters away. It doesn't matter. In any case, the horizontal distance has no bearing on my choice. Arcueid, can you do that thing again from earlier? What do you mean by that thing? I tell Arcueid what I intend to do. The explanation ends with a single word. After a moment of bewilderment, she looks at me in the eyes with an expression of resignment that says there's no other choice. If we do it on that scale, it will consume the last of my remaining strength. Knowing that, you still want to do it? Escape will no longer be a possibility. It doesn't matter. I nod. I can't spare enough strength to speak. Also, hold on. Wait, what? Also, hold on. Has she been looking for an opportunity like this the entire time? Huh? But wouldn't that mean you'd fall down halfway? I can't really do anything to avoid that. Of course I'm gonna fall. That's why. Even though I wanted to bring my breathing under control a little, I end up lecturing her in a loud voice. And over there... There's no time to explain. A barrage of ice spears bear down on us. Vlav plans to mercilessly skewer Arcueid through me. Just do it! There's no need to hold back. I don't care if you overdo it. If you end up killing me, then so be it. There's no time for pretense. I take my gaze off Arcueid and stare at the enemy in the distance. The woman behind me, as though responding to my order, says, "Yeah, leave it to me. I'll make sure that... I'll make sure that you win, Shiki." I stoop down in front of Arcueid. I put my hands and knees to the earth. An invisible arm runs through the ground. Arcueid transforms the terrain into fine rubble like before. No, the scale this time is much greater. The earth itself erupted. You'd be forgiven for thinking a bomb had gone off. The power of an overwhelming number of fragments. If Vlav's cold air is like a blizzard, then what Arcueid did is like an earth tsunami. A flying ice spear is no more than a droplet of water before the wall of earth and sand. The mass 50 meters tall and weighing 7,000 tons bears down on Vlav as if to swallow him whole. And yet, even in the face of this natural disaster that has turned the Earth's surface inside out, The knight doesn't budge. The billow of earth is driven back by a single thrust from his steel lance. Vlav must have seen through the downpour of debris. He must have seen Arcueid fall to her knees after using the last of her strength to upend that bedrock, and concluded that the threat supposedly lurking behind this smokescreen was nowhere to be found. In the face of the towering wave, the man manages to regain his lapsed sense of reason. No, he regained it 2 minutes ago to be exact. His mind, which should have lost all sanity from the constant barrage of cold, has been trying to function normally ever since that moment. The moment he jumped away from the human closing in on him. That human has a way to kill me. I don't know how, but I'm certain of it. Vestiges of the time when he was normal. His battle experience as a knight, forged in the Dark Ages, has pushed aside the curse that bound him had pushed aside the curse that bound him hand and foot. The pride and dignity of a mere 20 years, triumph over the madness that transcends thousands. He knows well what kind of miracle this is. Moments like this come and go. Nothing more than a trick of the imagination before killing that human. Simply a dream and afterlife that will never come. Never indulge yourself during combat. Such human-like joy will freeze over in a matter of seconds. That's why he cannot help but be inflamed by this turn of events. The enemy's aim is clear. They will approach using the wall of debris as a shield. Their weapon is cutting. Even this wall is like a door to them. They will surely cut it and intrude into this space. The lance is readied. He knows that by all rights, he ought to crush this wave, along with the enemies concealed behind it. There's no need to respond to the enemy's tactics. His strategy is to crush it all. There's still plenty of power left in him. The man has 10 people's worth of his finest blood in stock. However, that I cannot do, no matter what. These souls are the only ones I can never consume. They are his warmth, his blood, the fuel for his fire. He will preserve for all eternity. He didn't mean to look down on the human. That thing was an exception evading description. He already understood that.
Throat is real dry.
The man had a feeling the second that thing got close, it would be all over for him. But even so, there are some things on which he cannot compromise. Shatter! Thinking that it might be too late, he throws half of his remaining strength into his lance. The huge wave of debris collides and scatters. It was not enough. The only thing pierced was the object in front of him. That was just a blow to ensure his own safety. The enemy could not possibly be hit by such an attack. He will definitely come. He will appear no matter the cost. But, as sad as it is, that is the limit of humanity. A human cannot pass through a shower of debris on his own. He cannot even make use of the support of the princess of the true ancestors to that end. It will all be over when the downpour comes to an end. As long as he can see the man's figure, he will never allow such a surprise attack again. The man's eyes widen as the vast expanse in front of him comes into view. Nothing. There isn't a single trace of him anywhere. Not even his shadow running away. Perhaps he died from the blow of the lance. Impossible. The man scolds himself for raising such a foolish question. A chill of death runs down his spine, stronger than anything before. For a mere second, the man's thoughts had drifted away from the enemy. It's obvious that they're drawing near. If the enemy cannot be located, then there must be some mistake in his assumptions. He predicted that the wall of debris would be used as a shield. However, if it wasn't used as a shield, then it must be a road. The man looks up to the sky, to the enemy's figure outlined by the moonlight. Jesus Christ. And there, burning blue like a willow. I'm not used to seeing a "the" in there. And there, burning blue like a will-o'-the-wisp, the mystic eyes of death perception. The debris that consumed Vlav wasn't the only thing that Arcueid had sent flying. This bedrock was the true objective. She tied me down and blasted me out of the field of view, to a place unaffected by his cryogenic influence. On the ground, 30 meters below, the tsunami of earth and sand is crushed. Me and him, the final empty space between us. I reaffirm my choices, along with their consequences. If this is successful, I, Tohno Shiki, will lose both of my legs. Even if I survive this, I'll never walk again. I imagine that sort of future in great detail. I don't mind. In exchange for these 2 seconds, it's a price I'll happily pay. A mere second to locate the enemy. I have to respect his perceptiveness. But with that second, it's already too late. That must be Arcueid, I guess. Huh? But wouldn't that mean you'd fall down halfway? I can't really do anything to avoid that. Of course I'm going to fall. That's why. I need you to create a path for me. What the fuck? The soaring bedrock comes together like a jigsaw puzzle. A hastily constructed runway, lashed together by ivy. Aside from the difference in altitude, both of us now exist at the same coordinates in space. Now then, I estimate the average chance of survival. Before I begin, I give it a 1% odds. The route is set. Dude, Vlav is like, what the fuck is this? A one-way road spanning 30 meters in a mere 2 seconds. It's showtime, vampire. The gliding descent begins. A short slide towards death itself. I've completely given up on responding to him at this point. The speed my brain is operating at, I'm only capable of making 1 decision per second. With only 2 seconds before I fall, I focus all my abilities on just 2 points. The decision I made will bring me face to face with death at every turn. But even amongst those brushes with death, there will be moments that push more perilously close than others. Cases where I may not be able to survive no matter what I do. I've identified 2 such critical moments. Excluding those, the survival rate is probably around 10%. I can work with those odds. I'll ignore the favorable cases for now. The problem is those cases with a 0% chance of success. Against those odds, no matter your abilities as a human, your death is a foregone conclusion. So I'll give it everything I've got, and drag that 0% chance up to 1. In order to overcome these 2 fatal scenarios, I steel myself. I have no mental capacity left to allocate to any other eventualities. So now that I've started to descend, I don't have the ability to think about how to respond to him. What if I have to handle more than just 2 of these do-or-die moments than that period? I do not consider that. I don't have the capacity to overcome 3 deaths in my mind. If that's how it plays out, victory is his. It would just mean that his power is stronger than I can imagine. A dense flurry of ice spears shoot toward the falling prey. It's like the jaws of a beast. It's terrifying, but it doesn't matter. I wonder if it's thanks to his instincts that he anticipated this. Convinced I would come for him, terrified that I would kill him when I did. 10 meters. The first chance for failure. The sensations of my limbs, the fine-tuning of my muscles, and the sudden breaking of my torso return. After witnessing that angle of fire, I alter the course of my trajectory. A lump of iron passes right next to me. My gamble on that 0% chance paid off. 1 second left. Victory is mine. He's already out of options. My second critical decision will be that moment. I parry the impact of this fall, and before my body shatters, I'll kill him. Don't know what'll happen after that. I'll just focus my undivided attention on cutting his lines. That's why. If he makes one more move than I predict, I won't think. I won't even dodge. Even if I could change the situation halfway through, I wouldn't bother with something so pointless. That's why I gave up on thinking. If I'm going to die, then I was dead from the moment I started gliding. This is fine. I'm sure that if he skewered my brain here, I wouldn't even notice. Oh, I saw that. The second chance for failure. The extreme negative 100 degree conditions bring my entire body to a halt. My instinct prepares for landing. And the reasoning necessary to advocate for the significance of life hath already been left behind with the night sky. Love! I transfer my kinetic energy from the thighs to the waist, from the waist to my back muscles, and from my back muscles to the swing of the knife in my right hand. My muscles no longer try to hold me back. I'm a killing machine that works on raw sensory input alone. The only thing I need to focus on is capturing the lines. I see a light around the periphery of his vocality. The whirling wheel of atoms, the predetermined lifespan of matter, the pit-like point of death. Having abandoned all thought, I understand through instinct. If lines are present in the death of life, then that point represents the death of existence. Any immortal being, any monster can be killed with a single strike. It is none other than the end of the universe, the most repulsive thing in the world. But I really don't care about that discovery. My whole body shakes with a feeling far stronger than that. A machete is grasped in Vlov's hand. Even after unleashing his giant, deadly lance, this vampire was convinced that I was coming and chose to intercept me. At this stage, against an opponent like me who fights dirty, this guy's the real deal. I don't know how he stacks up as a vampire. I don't care to know. But simply as a murderer, he's extraordinary. I can't help but hate him. If he was in his right mind and wasn't a vampire, he would have been a knight to be envied. Even if I can see no shadow of that past self now. weapon will never have a chance to reach me. Turning, dodging, twisting. My eyes spun a line along his center. In an instant, the atmosphere reverts back to its original temperature. The cold wave, far removed from any natural phenomenon, disappears along with the man's life. In the middle of it all. What is this? The vampire muses to himself as he sways. I do not know this wound. I cannot remember this loss. This indescribable feeling of the air on my skin is something I lost some time ago. I don't know what he's talking about, or which country's language he's speaking in, but his gentle voice calls to mind a poet celebrating the spring. I feel no pain, nor do I feel the cold waves. It's terrifying, but familiar. Most as though I've become a dead man. All right. Got his ass. All right. We're going to stop here for today. That was fucking cool. The music was cool. The action was cool. They threw one extra choice in there to kind of make it a little bit more gamified, which was nice. That was cool. That's all I can really say. It was just really cool. It's kind of silly though, wasn't it? A little Dragon Ball Z meets MacGyver. Yeah. So next stream will be Monday and Wednesday. Finally back to my regular schedule. So that'll be cool. Thank you for watching so far. If you're watching the VOD, thank you for making it up to this point. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BerserkChip, where I upload curated VODs of my previous streams, including my dramatic readings and any other stuff that I might do. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/BerserkChip. That's where everybody follows me. And of course, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/BerserkChip. That's BerserkChip with 2 P's, because I forgot the password to my previous account. If you're still watching, please leave a comment. I love to read comments. Anything that you thought was funny or cool, or any criticisms you may have, I'd love to hear it. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.